And this was the first time anything this bizarre had happened.
Well, she's had some close calls.
Right.
I told my mother yesterday. I said Alexis she had 9 lives. She was a cat with 9 lives, and I said, well, I guess she didn't have 10. She just had 9. But hey, anyway, I was just joking yesterday.
Yeah.
I was just trying to lighten the mood. But
Right.
she has had so many close calls with surgeries and altercations with just. Different customers and things. Being on the south side of
That's what I was gonna
Columbus
say, yeah.
and the east side. She's worked on the east side. She's worked on the south side, and just infractions and altercations with customers and different things that have gone on. She's always come out smelling like a rose. She's always come out the other end.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stopped worrying about her, and I put her in God's hands. Mm-hmm. And this time it was just I don't understand it. I don't know what reality I'm living in right now, but it's just something that we just have to deal with right now. And I said to myself that from now on, when I go to the movies, I'm gonna buy a seat. I'm gonna buy an empty seat for my sister.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
That cause she loved to go to the movies with me. And we went. I think one of the last movies we went to was a John Wick movie. But anyway, I said from now on, when I go to the movies, I'm gonna buy a seat for my sister, and I'm not gonna let anybody sit in that seat, because that's her seat for the rest of my life. So that's it.
44-year-old Alexis Hill was never supposed to be at work that day. Truthfully, she was never supposed to still be in Columbus. The Georgia native had built a career in management before eventually becoming a Dollar General store manager. It wasn't glamorous work, but it paid the bills. It put 3 boys through school, helped them make it to prom, and carried them across graduation stages. Like so many mothers, Alexis kept sacrificing pieces of herself so her children could have a future that looked nothing like her present. For 7 years, she managed a store in a neighborhood where violence had become as routine as clocking in. Shoplifting, robberies, assaults on employees, and constant chaos weren't rare emergencies. They were part of the job description no corporate handbook ever admits exists. Most people would have transferred, quit, or simply walked away. Alexis stayed. She refused to let a broken environment dictate the kind of person she would become. When one of her employees became the victim of domestic violence, Alexis stayed by her side until police arrived. That single act of compassion grew into a partnership with local officers, and before long she was spending her own money helping families in need, often calling to ask, "Is there anybody who needs anything today?" Her sons hated it. They hated the endless hours, the stress, and every phone call that made them wonder if this would be the day their mother didn't come home. Eventually, all 3 sons and Alexis's grandchildren left Columbus for Colorado Springs, chasing something that should never be considered a luxury: safety. They pleaded with their mother to come with them. Her oldest son even promised they would buy a bigger house so the entire family could finally live together under one roof. That dream was supposed to have a happy ending. Instead, it collided with the cruel reality that retail workers are expected to smile through danger while billion-dollar corporations count receipts. Alexis kept postponing her escape, believing there would always be one more shift before she packed her bags. But sometimes tomorrow never arrives, and the house her family planned to fill with memories became a home with one chair forever left empty. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. For Alexis, June 23rd began like every other workday. She unlocked the doors to Dollar General, prepared the store for her employees, and jumped behind the register. It was another shift in a neighborhood where chaos had become so ordinary it barely made anyone flinch anymore. Around 10 a.m., 33-year-old Jerome Willis walked through the doors. People around the area knew him. Witnesses described him as someone who often wandered the streets yelling profanities, and many believed he struggled with mental illness. But long before anyone knew him for that, the criminal justice system already did. His record stretched back to 2007, when he was convicted as a juvenile for a robbery and sentenced to 20 years, but only served 10. Freedom did little to change the pattern. In 2023 and 2024, he was convicted of making terroristic threats, served 2 years, and walked out of Dooley State Prison on May 21, 2026. Barely a month later, he walked into Alexis's store. His purchase wasn't expensive, a pack of hamburger buns priced at $1.58. He handed Alexis 2 crumpled $1 bills. As she straightened the cash, performing one of the thousands of routine motions retail workers make every day without thinking, Willis stepped aside, pulled out a handgun, and shot her in the head. Over hamburger buns. Over 42 cents in change. He fled the store, leaving behind a mother, grandmother, and manager who had spent years serving a community that ultimately became the place where her life ended. Alexis was pronounced dead later that morning. A short time afterward, officers located Willis near Baker Plaza Drive, where authorities say he shot a police officer and a K-9 before officers returned fire, killing him. News outlets quickly reported that Havoc, the K-9, was expected to recover. Alexis's family would never receive that same comfort. Instead of hearing that their mother was stable, Alexis's sons received the call every child fears. The woman they had begged to leave Columbus had been murdered in the very city they spent years trying to rescue her from. Her oldest son, Jaden, poured his grief onto social media. "I don't think y'all understand I've been left Georgia. I literally was finna get a big house. I moved my brothers out here, and all we was waiting on was my mama. You should be here with me. I begged you to come. You left us and your kids in a world that already don't understand us." In another heartbreaking post, he added, "My mother ain't die, she was murdered. Time was stolen from me and mine." Those weren't just words written in grief. They were the sound of a son realizing the future he fought to build for his mother had been stolen before it ever had a chance to begin. A family was shattered. 3 sons lost their mother. Grandchildren lost the grandmother who was supposed to grow old beside them. As the community mourned, Alexis's brother admitted the pain of losing her would stay with him for the rest of his life. No amount of police reports, court records, or surveillance footage can explain what Alexis meant to the people who loved her. The evidence tells us how she died. Her family tells us who she was. For her brother, Jonathan, this isn't just another headline or another violent crime in Columbus. It's the loss of a sister whose absence will be felt every single day for the rest of his life. As the community gathered to mourn, he spoke about the woman behind the headlines and the devastating void her murder has left behind.
Tell us about who she was as a person.
Okay, as a person, born and raised here, right here in Columbus, just sweet, kind, always willing to go out of her way to help someone and go the extra mile. Yeah. She'd give the shirt off her back if she needed to. She was always helping people, as far as I could see. I went off into the military and retired, and I came back in 2019, and ever since I've been back, she's been busy, busy with the children, busy with the grandchildren, and just helping everyone she could. I think one of the last things she did was, gather some supplies for someone that was in need. And so that was like one of her last, acts of kindness was, even up to the day, was helping someone else. Mm-hmm. And then even at the crime scene, I got, droves of people were coming over and just telling us, how wonderful she was and how helpful she was and how she donated things to charity and everything. So, she can't be replaced. It's just a loss that, I'm gonna have to deal with and the family's gonna have to deal with, and we can't replace her. It's just a part of us that's just gonna be gone until, we reunite with her in heaven. Yeah. So, yeah.
And she had 3 sons.
3 sons.
And 2 grandkids.
And 2 grandchildren, yes.
Talk a little bit about her 3 sons. I know they no longer live in Columbus.
Okay, they moved to Colorado, and they joined up with some very prominent companies out in Colorado doing solar panel installations. So they do solar panel work and everything associated with that. I'm not in that industry, but they are having fun out in Colorado, and they're enjoying learning new things about their industry and about the whole solar panel business. So they were excited, And they were looking forward to having their mother, Alexis, move out there with them, to be with them and the grandchildren out in Colorado, one big happy family out there. And just things took a turn for the worse. She initially was going to go to Colorado to be with them, but she ended up staying here to have some major surgery done, and that kind of delayed things. So she really wasn't supposed to be here, but things just happened the way they did. But her sons are hardworking, all of them really hardworking, and Rothschild, Kendrick, alumni, Carver, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna get into all that, but
the rivalry.
they're homegrown Columbus, good Columbus, Columbus City boys. They just grew up here, and they learned that work ethic from their mother, and so they took that work ethic and they just applied it to every industry and every job that they got, and every business that that they ventured off into. They took that same work ethic that they learned from their mother and they applied it and were successful with it. So I hear nothing but good things from their employers, and just compliments, videos on Facebook of their employers taking videos of them. My nephew Michael, he has the company taking videos of him training the other installers. So I was really proud of Michael for that, and Christopher is getting promoted, and they're just all doing good, and out there with the cousin Sheldon, out there with him also. So all four of them doing really well, and then the grandchildren and their wives, their women are with them, with them out there. One big happy family, and Alexis was the last piece of the pie that was gonna go out there. I was gonna stay here and take care of our mother, and she was just gonna go out there and be with her boys. And it's just this tragic incident took place, and took her from us too soon.
And everyone I spoke with spoke highly of her, like you said, hard worker, always willing to lend a hand.
Yes.
And unfortunately, her life was cut short yesterday. Talk a little bit about, and if it's too much, I totally get it. You can tell me no, but just talk a little bit about when you got the phone call. When you take me to yesterday and just walk me through it.
Okay. Yesterday morning, I got up pretty early and got myself together. I put on my, I'm a Marine, so retired Marine, so I put on my they call PT gear.
Gotta do that PT time.
I put on my PT gear, and went out to the Riverwalk. It's like a little ritual I do. I go out to the Riverwalk and I just walk or run or whatever, and end up going out to the Riverwalk to do my morning routine. And I put my timer on, 55 minutes, try to do 55 minutes one way and then back. And right in the middle of the first leg of my walking, I get a phone call from my nephew Christopher saying that he said, "Hey, my mom's been shot and they don't know if she's gonna make it." And I said, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And we talked for a few seconds, and I told him I'm headed up there right now. I'm headed straight to her job. I'm headed straight to where she's working. And I just took off running. And I ran till I got out of breath, and I got back to my car, and I just, within the limits of the law, I took off for that Dollar General to get to my sister. Yeah. And, the rest is history. Got near there, and I talked to the paramedics, and they kind of, pointed me in the right direction, got to the crime scene, and then everything unfolded. Just my worst nightmare, became a reality. Yeah.
And not even 5 hours later, 3 hours later, they found who they allege, unfortunately, did this heinous act.
Yes.
The quickness of CPD. Talk a little bit about how your family feels about it, and how that makes you feel knowing that they found the person who they claim did this.
I think the general sentiment of the family is they're pleased with the the progress and the action of the Columbus Police Department, the detectives, the crime scene unit detectives, the violent crimes task force. Really impressed with the speed of how I call Detective Spivey and his men, and the deputy coroner Dustin, just so many Sergeant Davies out there, and just so many of the detectives on the scene that were just instrumental, and the speed and quickness that they found the assailant or alleged assailant. It was just phenomenal. It was just like one second we're talking with police officers there at the crime scene, and the next second, we hear gunshots coming from down a couple of neighborhoods over. We see, half of the police officers that were there running, jumping into their cars and speeding off, and to come to find out that that was a scene that took place later on of where they apprehended him, and what was done. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said that was swift justice, and I said, yeah. I said, God, I need you to take care of this one. I need you to fix this, because it just wouldn't have sat right with me in my spirit to know that the person that killed my sister was out there still, walking around, living their life and hiding from what they did. And so I give, my hats off to the Columbus Police Department and the task force that apprehended him and subdued him. My hats off to them. Detective Spivey said that was the best task force that they had in Columbus, and I really believe him now. So yeah, it was just amazing,
Yeah, I've seen them work in court, so you definitely got a good team behind you guys.
That was my biggest satisfaction too, because I said my nephew and his brothers will not have to relive that or see him in court. So that, gave me some big relief.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And talk about your relation to Alexis and her sons.
Yeah, so I am Jaden Hill's auntie. And so Alexis is the mother of my nephew. Been knowing her over 20-something years, and we always have had a great relationship, laugh, talk. And we talk at least once a week, even up to this day. And so, I am the one she calls on when Jaden is not doing what Jaden, and she calls me and she I need you to get your nephew. I need you to talk to your nephew. And I'd be like, okay, or why me? And so that's the one thing I'm going to miss, is that I'm not going to see her name pop up on my phone and call me and hear her voice. And the last conversation I just had with her was a week ago. And while she was talking, and I stopped and I said, Alexis, I don't know what it is about your voice. I said, but your voice, even when you're mad or you're talking, about something, your voice always sounds so sweet and so calm. I said, I love to hear your voice. She said, oh, thank you. And I said, I don't know why, but I just love to hear her voice. So I'm definitely gonna miss her calling me. But the one thing I am going to do is, be there for my nephew, which I always have been in his life, and that's going to continue. And my main thing is just, making sure that he stays in his right mind, because those boys done lost their mother. And the uncle said that she was supposed to be moving there in August. So, they had plans, getting a house together, they all living together. So that was broken. And that is the saddest part right there, that, now she won't be able to make it. And when I tell you, that's all she talked about. She was on countdown. That was it. She was ready to get to her boys and her grandkids. That was her life, so.
And the situation is unfortunate because, according to the coroner, it was about hamburger buns, or he was purchasing hamburger buns and the money was balled up and handed to her. And
yeah, I think that was a superficial reason. My sister always thinks with her, she thinks with her mind, and she always tries to de-escalate situations, and what that person did, I called him a monster yesterday. I called him some other things yesterday, but anyway, but what he did was just senseless, and in my opinion, he was either on drugs or he had some kind of mental condition going on, and he was just looking for a reason to do what he did. He was looking for a target, and my sister just unfortunately happened to be that target.
Yeah. Such an unfortunate, senseless tragedy. Talk a little bit about your last phone call with your sister.
Okay, I think my last phone call with my sister, and she's my only sister, my only sibling. So this really, I think I cried more in the last 24 hours than I think I've cried in my whole life. But I still got more crying to do. But the last phone call we had was with our mother on video, on FaceTime, on video chat. We were talking on FaceTime, and she was talking about from her childhood. She called me out of the blue with her mother on the phone, and we're all on three-way, and she's talking about how she said, "You remember that time I was jumping on the bed and I fell off the bed and I hit my head and I hit my eye and I cut my eye open, and they had to rush me to the hospital." And I looked at the phone and I said, "No, I don't remember." I don't remember that, Alexis. And she said, "Yeah, you do. You remember it." And she said, "Why am I the only one that remembers it?" And I said, "Because it happened to you." And I told her, I said, "Well, you remember that time our Uncle Daniel threw that baseball and it hit me in the head, and I put my arms up to try to catch the baseball, but he threw it too fast and it went past my hands and hit me in the head." And she said, "No." I said, "See." So that was the last time that was really the last conversation. She got on to me about missing the Masters of the Universe movie. I said, I'll make it up to you. I'll take you to the Spider-Man movie. And that was some of the last conversations we had yesterday with her.
Yeah. And once this hit social media, a lot of things and storylines and stuff about your sister was starting to get told. Just clear up anything, or what do you want people who have ran to social media with their own narratives to know?
Okay, well, number one was my sister and the assailant did not know each other, and that's fact. I won't go into how I know that, but it's a fact that they did not know each other. They were not related. They were not in a relationship. They were complete strangers. So that's, for starters, that's it. There was no unscrupulous things going on. This is just some random stranger that walked into my sister's store and got really violent and confrontational with her, and decided that he wanted to escalate things by shooting her and killing her, and then running from the scene. And I think it was just fortunate that the Columbus police officers immediately took action, and I'm thankful that they were so swift, and I believe it was with the help of God that they apprehended this guy that she did not know, that she had no prior communication or any communication with at all, other than him coming into the store and attempting to purchase something, and whatever mental state he was in, he decided that whatever answer she gave him across the counter wasn't good enough, and he took matters into his own hands, in whatever mental state he was. And it was just a bad really, really terrible, tragic situation.
Excuse me. And when I spoke to people on the scene, it was a barbershop owner who claims he may have saw the individual with his face painted black before entering in the Dollar General. Is there anything that you guys know, or were you able to speak to that barbershop owner?
I was not able to speak to him, just from the not necessarily the rumors, but just from the conversations that were going on when we arrived at the crime scene. I believe someone said that he had a mask on. So that was maybe part of the problem with trying to identify exactly who it was. If he had a mask on, it would be like double hard, to try to identify who he was.
And of course, CPD was very swift in what took place yesterday, and he made a comment. I'm not sure if you guys heard the comment, but if someone shoots at their officer, his words were, they're going to kill you.
Right.
Hearing that, how did that make you feel?
Well, I was just kind of reminded about the rules of engagement from military service, and at a particular time it was told that you don't really fire until you're fired upon. So I don't necessarily know all the protocol of the Columbus Police Department, but I believe that it was they were justified in what they did on yesterday, and my heart and my mind still goes out to the police officers that were injured, and the one that was shot, and even the K-9 officer that was shot. My heart goes out to them, and I just really appreciate their service and what they did in response to what happened to my sister.
Anything else that I may not have asked that you would like to say, add, or mention?
I just hope and wish that not just this city, but the problem areas of America, that we would come to some kind of solution for the violent crimes, particularly with gun control, gun laws, and not necessarily taking away the rights and freedoms of the American citizens, the people that are abiding by the laws. It's the criminals that don't abide by the laws that need to be dealt with. And I just hope that someone comes up with a solution to get these guns off the streets, and really the overarching issue is mental health. I believe the nation and parts of this city and parts of this nation are in a mental health crisis. And I think that this mental health crisis is not being appropriately addressed. And we have people walking the streets with guns and with weapons that are not mentally stable, and they're not mentally fit to carry said firearms and to carry said weapons. So I don't know what that solution looks like, but I just hope it comes swiftly so that no one else has to experience the pain and the loss that me and my family are going through right now.
Certainly. And my last question for you, and it disappears my mind right now, but I'm going to ask you because I know it'll come back. Anything you would like to add, say, or mention, or describe Ms. Hill? I
really would like to say, I will say this right here. She was known by so many people, and a lot of love and support, and everyone has the same outlook on her, that she was sweet, she was loving, she was giving, and one thing I will say, that she loved her kids and her grandkids. She was a great mother, and great daughter as well, and sister, because she loved her mother, and him and her, they take care of their mother, and she is so sweet. So she will be very missed, and this tragic situation, it really did bring out a lot of outpours and tears in the community. So I just would hope that everyone keep Alexis' family and my nephew and all of us in your prayers, and because we're going to need it. And this will not change overnight, but hopefully, we will be able to move forward and keep her in our memories and just cherish her, and because no one has nothing bad to say about her, and we're going to love her dearly and miss her.
And she was the store manager of Dollar General.
She was a store manager. Yeah, she was a store manager. She's been a manager for a lot of different companies, Circle K, Kohl's. Yes, she worked for Peak Pavement and the Department of Transportation. So she's been around. She's been around. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
And do you guys know how long she was working at Dollar General?
Oh, she's been there for years, probably about 7 years she had been a manager.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, she's been there for a while. Yeah,
and this was the first time anything this bizarre had happened.
Well, she's had some close calls.
Right.
I told my mother yesterday, I said Alexis she had 9 lives. She was a cat with 9 lives. And I said, well, I guess she didn't have 10. She just had 9. But hey, anyway, I was just joking yesterday.
Yeah.
I was just trying to lighten the mood. But she has had so many close calls with surgeries and altercations with different customers and things, being on the south side of Columbus and the east side. She's worked on the east side, she's worked on the south side, and just infractions and altercations with customers and different things that have gone on. She's always come out smelling like a rose. She's always come out the other end. So I just stopped worrying about her, and I put her in God's hands. And this time it was just I don't understand it. I don't know what reality I'm living in right now, but it's just something that we just have to deal with right now. And I said to myself that now from now on, when I go to the movies, I'm gonna buy a seat. I'm gonna buy an empty seat for my sister.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
That cause she loved to go to the movies with me. And we went, I think one of the last movies we went to was a John Wick movie. But anyway, I said from now on, when I go to the movies, I'm going to buy a seat for my sister, and I'm not going to let anybody sit in that seat, because that's her seat for the rest of my life. So that's it.
And last question for you. He has a criminal history. He's been arrested since 2012, kind of in and out of the system. Knowing that, talk a little bit about just hearing that information. How does that make you feel? I mean, he went to jail in 2014 for a robbery. He was 14 at the time. Well, 2012, he was 14 at the time. He went to jail for a robbery. Just knowing that he's kind of had
criminal history.
And you don't have to touch
it don't matter. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I looked at it and I said, well, if it was time served, then, and I have my own personal opinions about the penal system and the jail and prison system, but if it was time served and he served his time and he was discharged from the prison or jail, and he served his time, then that's just how the system works right now. But however, if he was not mentally stable and mentally fit to be re-released back into society, now that's where the problem really comes in at, because even though you physically were in a jail cell, a prison cell, and you serve your time, but you being released and not being mentally stable to where you go and do something like this now.
Does that mean he definitely was not rehabilitated?
Exactly. What happened in between you being released and you being put back out into society? It should have been another step or another program or something, or a psychologist, a psychiatrist that could, sign off on saying, okay, this person is fit to be back in society again.
Right.
And what would you like to see change legislation-wise when it comes, knowing that he had a criminal history, and when it comes to people going into jails, rather than it just being, okay, they're going to sit in the prison and that's what they're going to do, what would you like to see change here in Georgia?
Repeat offenders, being put into some kind of, maybe not necessarily prison, but a place where they can still be productive members of society, but not be allowed to interact with said society. You know, so maybe something like a third-party corporation or something comes in and says, okay, these people are repeat offenders. We can't put them with the general population. Right. We can't then put them back with the general populace. We need to put them somewhere where they can still be productive members of society, but not have access to everyone because of their repeated criminal history.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes too, I feel as though they're not even given enough time for the crime that they've done, and they just be, like you say, put right back out there, you know. And sometimes they just feel like, oh, you know, he's a repeat, so that's just a slap on the wrist. I did 2 years, I go out there and do it again, you know. And sometimes, like you say, after so many times, why is he able, or anyone able, to be able to continue to do those things? Because they're a harm to the community, so.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have.
Or was there a misdiagnosis, or was there a condition, a mental condition that he had that they did not catch, that was not diagnosed? Maybe he should have been on medication. Maybe there's people just like him roaming the streets right now here in Columbus or across America that need to be on medication, but they haven't gone through the proper screening to identify, hey, their mental problems or whatever they have. So that is a big shortfall here in America. Yeah.
And I want to end on this. Any message that your nephews wanted to send or say, anything that you would like to say on their behalf?
Well, I just, you know, the Bible says that vengeance is mine and I will repay, says the Lord. So, I mean, I believe God used the Columbus Police Department to take vengeance for us, so that we wouldn't have to get involved. Right. We don't want to get our hands dirty with this. And I just want to say to anyone that may know the assailant's family, just leave his family alone. God has done what needs to be done. The police department has done everything that needs to be done. It's still an ongoing investigation also. And, you know, we don't need anyone going out and trying to shed more blood on behalf of my sister. We believe that, you know, God is going to be the final judge and have the final say. So I don't want anybody going after his family members, none of his family. Just leave them alone and just let God handle it. Yeah. Just let God handle it.
But cases like this always leave the same haunting question. How many warnings does a community need before someone is recognized as a danger? Willis spent much of his life cycling through the criminal justice system, returning to society with another violent conviction attached to his name. On June 23rd, the consequences landed on Alexis. The move to Colorado Springs, the bigger family home, the chance to simply be mom and grandma instead of store manager, all of it disappeared with a single pull of a trigger. Now her sons will make one final trip back to Columbus, not to welcome their mother home, but to bury her. May Alexis Hill rest in peace.